at this nice strip. Oh my God. Welcome back. Today we've got a special one because this is the first AMG Black Series I will ever drive. This is the SL65 AMG Black Series, and it is an absolute monster. Now, just from the bodywork alone, you know this thing is special. You know it's unlike any other SL because these fender flares are just outrageous. This is the kind of thing that you would see come from like a third-party coach builder, not from the factory. And its aggressive looks pair nicely with its power plant. It has a 6-liter biturbo V12, pumping out 661 horsepower and limited to 738 pound-feet of torque. Now, if you're doing quick math, that is 1,000 Newton meters of torque. Absolutely staggering. It's a 2010, so we're still working with this 5-speed automatic transmission, but I really want to spend some more time looking at the car because when you stare at anywhere on the paint, you'll notice that there's a carbon weave because this is all carbon reinforced plastics. The only body panels that this car shares with the standard SL or SL65 is this door and this mirror, end of list. And to save weight, it does not have a convertible folding roof. This is all fixed, which is just so cool. This wing will raise and lower, and the rear of the car is just outrageous. Look at that diffuser, carbon fiber everywhere. When you open the trunk or the hood, that's where you really get a taste of all this carbon fiber underneath. It's pretty wild. And it's still a Mercedes-Benz. Soft close, wonderful. It doesn't end there though, because even when you open the gas cap, you have a carbon fiber door and you can see all the carbon fiber inside. The cabin is pretty standard SL fare, although the Black Series gets an extra M1 and M2 button for faster shifts. And then you, of course, have your retractable wing button. But it's not devoid of excitement or luxury. It's still a Mercedes-Benz. I know this car is all about saving weight, but they certainly still have some oddball features. That seems excessive for this door cubby to come out about an inch. Under the hood is where all the excitement happens, and you've got to have nimble little fingers to get this out because that's pretty far in there. But again, carbon fiber hood, and then our monster 6-liter V12 Biturbo power plant. If you've been with me for a while, you'll recognize this engine from the S65 AMG, the big S-Class that I drove pretty recently. And the difference between this engine and that engine is that this has 12% larger turbos. But also remember, this is somewhere in the neighborhood of 800 pounds lighter than that car. But enough about this outrageous body. We gotta drive it. So let's hop in. What you'll notice inside is that you have a 2-tone dashboard. Our tack is in white, our speedo is in black. It goes to 220 miles per hour. It's limited to 199. Now, we've got our key, and there's 2 ways to start it. We can pop it in the ignition like a normal person, but why would you do that when you have this killer, racy engine start-stop button? Unreal. If we lift up the wing, you can see how menacing this looks. What a monster. All right. Let's go take it for a drive. And as we go to shift it into drive, you'll notice USA 1 of 175. They only imported 175 of these into the US. It's dancing quite a bit. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? This is like real. This is real stuff. That's a cop. We don't want to mess with that. We're gonna take our time. This is a scary car to be messing around with on public roads, I'll tell you that much. We gotta go find a faster piece of tarmac. Let's just see what it does in second gear as we roll onto it. That's not even full throttle. What on earth? Okay, I gotta say, I've driven the S65. I've driven cars with basically this engine, but with smaller turbos. It does not do what this thing does. Holy cow, this is fast. I wrongly thought that this was not going to impress me. I wrongly thought that I would be like, oh man, it's 10 years later. I've driven so many faster cars. This transmission's gonna be limiting. False, false, false. This is psycho. This is psycho. So yeah, the gearbox doesn't have like lightning fast downshifts. It doesn't have to. This is a GT car. The steering is still light. It doesn't feel like I'm in a race car. I definitely feel like I'm in an SL. Oh my goodness. When you lean into it and the boost starts pulling, you can't see it on camera, but you can feel the rear end torquing. You can feel it like it's moving. This car has so much torque. Oh my God. If you tune this and made it faster, you would have the craziest thing in the world on your hands. So yeah, you don't have that crazy upshift from the paddles. Let's put it back in like normal mode. I just want to see what it does in drive. Oh, this is good. Oh, I couldn't be luckier. This is developed for psychos. See, the shifts, it doesn't give you some like crazy hard upshift, but it doesn't need to. It's in sport mode. It's keeping my gear to make sure that I'm in the power band, like it matters. Look at this nice strip. Oh my God. It falls out of boost just a little bit on the upshifts because it doesn't have a wildly fast transmission, but it builds quick enough that you don't feel like you've just lost all this thing. It's just like, ooh, here it comes back again. Wow, this is a monster. This is like a proper monster. That doesn't sound good. My goodness, when the boost builds, the rear end just torques. It's definitely designed to be a GT cruiser that goes 180 miles an hour and just cruises, just enjoys it, with a little left over in case somebody was going to pass you at 200. You go ahead and catch right back up to them. It's still a heavy car. It's still 4,200 pounds plus a little bit, plus me, plus fuel, but you know, it's not going to be your race car that you're just going to take out. You will destroy consumables on this because these tires, you've got 325s in the back, 265s I think in the front. I'll put a note if that's wrong. But although it's totally capable and it'll handle, it's not a lightweight race car. It's still luxurious in here. They still didn't spare expense. They want to make sure that you're a happy camper when you drive this. You don't have to give like any throttle. It just does crazy things. Oh, I feel like I should be nowhere near a school with this. This thing is way not appropriate for children. Nice turn in. You literally can't go full throttle. Like, you can't. You don't want to get hit by rocks, but we can get out of the way pretty quick. Oh my God. This is so nuts. Brand new, it was a little over $300,000. I don't know what they go for today. I'd imagine they've held value pretty well because they're rare and they're cool. And I would not be surprised if people were still paying big money for these if this is what they can do. You've got to wonder, does anyone on the road even know what this is? So when you pass somebody, do they just instantly say like, oh, that's a Black Series? This is one of those if you know cars. Like normal people have no idea what this is. Normal people don't even know this exists. It's like 50% throttle. The owner of this car does bring it to the track once in a while, and I can see why. I mean, I would love to unleash this thing and like feel it exit a corner wide open with a little more leeway rather than Jersey barriers waiting for me to destroy all of the bespoke body panels on this car, because that's the other problem. If anything happens to any of these body panels, they're all just for this car. You're not finding, these aren't common at all. Not that like normal SL parts are all that common, but these certainly are not easy to find. Do you remember old Top Gear with Jeremy Clarkson where he would say like, this can turn the earth in reverse? He'd say that about a lot of cars, and you'd get like kind of over it. You're like, all right, I get it. It's the theater of this has lots of torque. No, this is like the first car in a long time that I'm really astonished by. I am shocked. One thing that drives me nuts about these Mercedes generations is that the cruise control stock is in a very annoying place because I always go to hit it when I'm reaching for my blinker. The blinker's really low. Mercedes people, you're used to it. You don't care. You're just saying I'm a BMW fanboy. No one's behind us. Let's get into them a little bit. Ooh, yeah. I'm not gonna go crazy because I don't want to flat spot his tires. This is a person's car. We want to be a little bit nice. Also, we don't want to just come to a complete stop after you've just put all that heat in the rotors. Not good. So we just keep it rolling. Be kind to the cars you review, guys. Be kind. Put that in manual, M1, M2. Gives you 25% faster shifts. It feels pretty aggressive. Little delay on the boost when you upshift, like I said. It doesn't stay in boost. They're larger turbos, so when it's waiting to hit that next gear, you definitely lose exhaust pressure, so you lose intake pressure. Those are the joys of modern gearboxes, which shift a lot faster, and essentially they're lossless between gears. But now we get to say, this is character. Character is the reason why it feels like this. Everything else about the car is just incredibly natural. Like I'm not even thinking about it. Simple buttons, great S2000, hello. God, I love knobs and buttons. Makes my life easier. I don't have to go through some touchscreen menu to figure out how to drive the car, how to get some AC when I'm hot. Like, do people know what this is? Do they even see this? Am I blending in? When you look in the mirrors, all you see are the haunches, just those massive fenders on both sides. And you're thinking to yourself, am I in the lines? Yes, I am. Although it looks like it's 10 feet wider than the standard car, it's really only about like 4 or 5 inches wider. But still, that makes a huge difference when the rear fenders are just that far away from the body line of the car. Wow, what a brute. I just have this looming feeling that I'm gonna come over a hill on throttle and just see a Ford Explorer staring at me. I don't wanna see that. And sure, you miss out on the convertible experience that most SLs have, but yeah, who cares? You've pulled off a ton of weight from the standard SL by removing the hardtop and by lightening up the body with the carbon fiber reinforced plastic pieces. I'm honestly just mostly shocked by how little inputs you need to go very, very, very fast in this car. I mean, yes, it has a lot of power, but so modern supercars, right? I've said this about the 720, like I always say, you could give that to anybody. Anyone could drive this car. Nope, not this. Nope, I would not give this to anybody. Anybody would die in this car. This is very fast and quite unforgiving. The rear end, although I have full traction on, in like third gear, still wants to break loose. But what I'm coming to find out is you basically just drive this car on the rear end. Your right foot determines whether or not you are gonna make the corner. This suspension is tuned for the Nürburgring. That means it's stiff. That means it's lower, it's stiffer. It's not gonna be forgiving on like normal B roads. This is not a car for New England. You've gotta hope you live in a nice town where they pave all the roads. And I think I'm just gonna turn around here because I really don't wanna have to do any crazy 3-point turns in a spot that I don't know what the surface looks like. So we'll just do this. I know it's not theatrical. I know you're gonna say, oh, you should be revving at ultra redline. I want to assure you, you have no idea what you're talking about. There's so much torque in the mid-range that it's just trying to send that rear end off the road. Just want you to die, just want you to spin. If there were more than 175 of these in the United States, like a lot more of them, I guarantee this would have the Mustang reputation at the car show. That's for certain. AMG certainly has not lost their edge. If you drive a new C63 S AMG, you still get the same crazy rear end bite. But I'll tell you, man, there's something that's just a little bit gone, because although that car is edgy and exciting, this really is wild. This is like an animal that needs to be tamed. Whereas the new cars, they're already tamed. The electronics are very good. So I guess on one hand you could say, hey, progress. Like, the cars function as designed and you can use them. But old AMG was not about functioning as designed. Old AMG was like, throw as much power at it as you possibly can. Give them more torque than they could ever in a million years ask for, and then just send them off on their merry way and see what happens. So cool. Thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to respect the drive, especially when you have over 700 foot-pounds of torque. And a big thank you to my Patreon supporters for making this content possible, and I'll see you in the next one with a very different car. But yeah, when everybody who's driven it is telling me that this car scares them, that this car is a little too much. And I've heard that a lot, and I always just kind of say, yeah. No, I understand it. This is a lot of car. This is a lot of torque, and it wants to bite your face off. There's not much for nannies in here. Even with the traction control, she wants to step out.